Hello, what's up guys? Your guy Promzy once again. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about the blue card and the regular working visa in Germany for international. So if you're ready for this video, stay tuned. Okay, so if you come to Germany as an international student and you've been able to complete your education successfully, either your undergrad or your master's, the next phase of your stay in Germany is usually looking for a full-time job. You are given 18-month grace period whilst you're on a job seeking visa to look for a job. Once you get a job, it's either you get a blue card or a working visa. And this is the main similarity between these two resident permits. The blue card and the working visa allows you to live and work in Germany legally. Now, what are the main differences between the blue card, the EU blue card, and the German working visa? The main difference when it comes to the blue card and the working visa is your salary, how much you make in a year. So there is no threshold on how much you should be making in order to get a German working visa. However, there is a limit on how much you should be making in order to get the EU blue card. So when it comes to the blue card for standard employment, you should be making not less than 48,300 euros. And for shortage employment or shortage occupation, you should be making at least 43,759 euros 80 cents. Very specific. So one will ask, what are the shortage occupations? So the shortage occupation usually include doctors, engineers, IT personnel, and jobs that are in high demand in Germany, but they don't have a lot of skilled personnel to fill this position. So if you are usually in the STEM field, you qualify to be in the shortage occupation, where you have to be earning at least 43,759 euros 80 cents. While the standard employment are like the bankers, which other one? While the standards are like the bankers, marketers, sales personnel, and other corporate jobs, but not really in high demand like HR, lawyers, and the rest. One other difference when it comes to getting either the blue card or the working visa is your education background. Of course, for the EU blue card, you should have completed your master's in a recognized university, while the working visa must not necessarily be a recognized university. So house builders and other trained professionals can also get the regular working visa to work and live in Germany. One main difference between the EU blue card and the German working visa is during the application process. For the EU blue card, once you meet the salary threshold and you apply for the EU blue card, your job description is not reviewed by the Agentur für Arbeit. However, if it's a working visa to live in Germany, you have to send your job description to the Agentur für Arbeit to review it and confirm that this is a job for an international. So there's a clause that states that if the job can be done by a regular German, like if it's not a high demanding job, they usually don't give the visa, the working visa for international, because they are looking for skilled personnel. So sometimes you can apply for your visa and they will reject it because the job that you're using to apply for the visa is not good enough for international students or for internationals. But like I said, with the blue card, once you hit the salary threshold, automatically the job approval is done, because no job will pay you 48,000 if you're going to be cleaning the kitchen or if you're going to serve at a restaurant. So there's no job reviewer process for the EU blue card, while the working visa requires a job reviewer from the Agentur für Arbeit. And yes, your application can be denied by the agency or the Agentur für Arbeit, and you need to look for a new job in order to apply to get a valid resident permit, working resident permit, to work and live in Germany. Okay, so one main difference when it comes to these two resident permits is also the renewal process. The EU blue card is usually valid for 4 years and can be renewed after it expires. And the working visa is usually dependent on the job contract. So you can have someone who is having a regular working visa for a year or 2 years, depending on the person's working contract. So the path to resident permit. Once you start working in Germany, usually the next step is to apply for your permanent residency in Germany. If you are an EU blue card holder, per requirement, you're supposed to be a holder for not less than 33 months before you can apply for the resident permit However, if you are well integrated, and well integrated means if you have a B1 certificate, then the requirement drops to 21 months. But for the working visa, the minimum is 5 years. So that means you have to be holding the working visa for a minimum period of 5 years in order to apply for the PR. That's the permanent resident permit. And with this one, it also comes with the B1 language requirement. So for the blue card, 33 months without the language requirement, or 31 months with the language requirement, and with the working visa is 60 months with the language requirement. One other main difference between the blue card and the working visa is the family reunification process. If you are married and your spouse is living outside the country, you want to bring your spouse to this country, as into Germany, to live with you, the requirement for both resident permit is different. It's very easier if you're a blue card holder to bring your spouse to come and live with you. For your spouse, like said before, for PR, you don't need the language requirement. And even if your spouse is coming to join you in Germany, your spouse does not need the language requirement as well. This, however, is not the same for people who are holding the working visa. For the working visa, the process is the standard process. So your spouse will have to have at least A1 in order to join you. And the process is not as easy and as faster as a blue card holder. Mobility in EU. If you are an EU blue card holder, after holding the card for more than 18 months in the country that it was issued to, you can move to another country to work. So the work permit is not only valid for the country in which you are in, but it's valid for almost all the countries in the EU. While the German working visa is only valid for Germany. That means if two people have both working visas, as in the EU blue card and a regular German working visa, one can live and work outside Germany, for example in Netherlands, whilst the other cannot, because this resident permit is only for Germany. So these are the main difference between the EU blue card and the German working visa. So one might ask, why doesn't everyone go in for the EU blue card? We realized at the beginning that there are some strict requirements you have to meet in order to get the EU blue card. So one might ask, why doesn't everyone go in for the EU blue card? But you realize at the beginning that there are some strict requirements that internationals have to meet in order to secure or get this EU blue card. Without these requirements, there's almost no way to go around it. Okay, so we've come to the end of this video. I hope you find this video very educative and informative. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and put a nice comment in the comment section below. Like always, the name is Promzy, and I'm signing out. Peace.